Yeah.
You know, we're going to switch gears really quick. Office culture can make or break a company. Some studies even suggest that a bad office culture will lower employee productivity.
But not here, right? I did have the opportunity to sit down with leading expert Darren Martin on this subject, and check it out.
And joining me now is author, speaker, Darren Martin. Good to have you in the studios here.
Great to be on with you, Brian. I always enjoy being with you.
All right. So how important is a good office culture?
I think about where people spend the majority of their lives. Okay, you think this might matter?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 85% of the people around the globe say they hate their jobs. And think about the trickle-down effect of that. So if you go to work and you hate your job and you're miserable, then you go home and guess what? You're in a surly mood, and then that spreads out into the community, and the community spreads out, you know, to the world. So when people have a great experience at work, not only does it endear them to the company, but it also literally changes the world in a positive way.
Absolutely. Now, September is a very special month in your whole work culture world. Let's talk about that.
So we've got days, we've got months for everything. There's a Bobo Tea Day, right? And then, of course, we've got some very important things like Black History Month, where we really, you know, focus on that. There was not a company culture focus. There wasn't a day, there wasn't a month. So one of the first things we did at Order of Business as the Global Company Culture Association is we registered with the National Registry, and September is now Global Company Culture Month. And the idea is, let's take all of these broken cultures, let's take the ones who are getting it right, and let them talk about what they're doing, and then let's take the ones that really want to focus on it and spend that month really talking about what impacts the day-to-day lives of the people that work in those companies.
Let's talk about some of the mistakes that a central business owner might be making right now in their own culture. What are some of the mistakes that you see?
So one of the biggest I see is that we're still operating off of an old system of work. You know, when we were in factories, we were punching clocks, we were thinking very linear about the way work goes. Guess what? We don't live in that world anymore. Work invaded home. You've got to respond to emails at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night for most jobs. And yet we've kept this very rigid structure about where people work, how they work, what time they work. That's a big one. I think if business owners would treat people more like adults and give them more control over the way they do their schedule, they might be really pleasantly surprised by how people perform. Another one is just not having a sense of autonomy. We made a deal a long time ago. This is what work's going to be. You come to work, I give you some money, that's it. Well, work is so much more than that. And companies that don't invest in their employees in some other ways find that, guess what? Employees don't invest in the company.
And it seems like more and more millennials are wanting to be happy at work, not just going for a paycheck. They want to find something that fulfills them inside.
When you're happier, do you perform at a better level or a worse level?
Absolutely, a higher level.
So, you know, this should be on every company's agenda. How do we make people excited about coming to work? Because when we do, we're going to get their discretionary effort. They're going to go that extra mile. They're going to be happy to do things that benefit the company. That ought to be your first concern as a leader.
Okay, so what can someone do right now that's watching this and says, look, I'm going to go back to the office tomorrow, and I'm going to do this one thing that Darren Martin says to do. What is that?
I think it starts 100% with listening. You gotta sit the people down. Maybe you do it one-on-one, maybe you do it in a group, depends on your environment, and you ask some very serious questions. Are you a better person for working here? Do you love coming to work? If not, why not? What would make you love coming to work? You've got to get down to the nitty-gritty and then truly listen. Not be defensive about it, but hear what people have to say.
There you go. How can people at home right now get more information about your services? And you speak around the country, actually, right?
I do. Easy to find, Darren Martin, D-A-R-E-N Martin, and they can also check out the Global Company Culture Association.com. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. Well, we enjoy you coming and visiting us here. I'm going to sit it back in the studios to Amanda, who quite frankly is in a great company culture right there. We got a great studio going on.
I love it. I love it.
Take it back to you guys.